chance before any of you were born, and I was walking across the aisles at Harvard Business School about the time that you were being born. So hopefully I have a few things that I can share with you today about your careers, what lies ahead for you, and give you some perspective. Life's an interesting journey, and we'll talk about that a little bit. I will spend some time in Q&A to tell you about exactly what I do in my job, but what I'd like to do during the presentation portion is talk a little bit about where you are right now and where you're looking forward, the decisions you have to make, and kind of how to prepare yourself in life to be the most flexible that you can so you have a successful career, you have a very happy life, because I think that's important. At a high level, why are we here? God has you here. For some reason you're here this morning, just roll with it. More practically, there's free bagels in the back room, and Mr. Burney asked me to be here, so food always is an attractor for folks, and I'm glad you could join and partake. But at the core of what this is about is you guys have a desire to learn something today. You might not be sure exactly what it is. Maybe it'll be something that you'll take with you this afternoon, a week from now, a month from now, when you're trying to decide what to do for college or career or whatnot. Maybe it'll be something that you'll remember down the road. I have a desire to teach. I'm glad you're here and you have a desire to learn, so let's get started. I remember when I was in your shoes. I was a teenager. Interestingly enough, when I walked in the doors here back in 1984, I was a 5-foot-tall freshman. Wasn't big enough to play sports. If I read through these bullet points, I realize how much of a geek I may have been. I wore a tie to school every day. I see the guys, either they have them stuffed in their bags or maybe it's not a requirement anymore. Interestingly enough, I made it through 4 years of school without meeting a girl across the ravine here, which is quite sad when I wrote it. But interestingly enough, you guys have some integration going on here in the learning. This forum looks like a great forum to learn. I wish that fourth bullet point wasn't there, but ultimately I found my bride in engineering school, so it all worked out. Art, calculus, physics, the sciences were things that were very interesting to me, and I kind of think about maybe the best way or a potential best way to approach life. Very important point is, don't try and solve the puzzle of life right now. You got a lot of stuff laying ahead of you, a lot of decisions. The great thing is that God gives you the opportunity every day to make new decisions that kind of guide you in a new or different course. So instead of trying to, have it all solved, think about what you want to do with your life. What's your passion? One of the things you'll see is, 20 years from now, as you look back, if you're not on a path that is doing something that in your heart is what you feel you're here to do, and God tells you what that is, it's a key to what I'm going to talk about today, you're going to constantly be reminded of this inner voice inside you saying, this is what I should be doing, this is where I should be going. And if you're not on that path, it's going to lead to a life where you're like, I'm not happy, things aren't going right. So spend your time now thinking about what that passion is and developing a plan to live as close to that path as possible. Make sure that plan is flexible. Think about what you want to be when you're 20, 30, 40, and beyond. And think about how your life will incrementally evolve. Don't try and, if you want to be a movie star, don't expect like you graduate and then you're going to go to Hollywood and everything's going to be great. You work on incrementally figuring out what's the next best thing to do to put you on the right path. Define success early in life. Make sure that it's not just about you, it's about others in your life, how you impact others. Make it more than how much you make, although that's important, you got to pay your bills, or how much you have, and remember that it all comes from God and from your faith. And ultimately, when you're done, what you're trying to do is leave a legacy, impact others. What you leave behind is as important as the journey itself. So let's talk a little bit about the journey of a career. What is a career? It's a journey in life. It's a quest to achieve a goal that you set forth. Hopefully that goal is the thing that you're passionate about in life, whether it's becoming a scientist or a teacher, doctor, or a business person. It becomes the journey becomes your legacy. As you go through life, you make choices that impact other people's lives, and you want to do that in a very positive manner. And one of the more important things I can say, having been through extremely stressful times in my life, going through and getting a couple of master's degrees and going to Harvard Business School and on to restructuring over 100 companies, financially restructuring and trying to save jobs, I can tell you from the pits that it's very difficult sometimes in life, and you just gotta make sure that you maintain a certain sense of balance, your friendship, your family, and that's important to make sure that your life doesn't go out of kilter. So a career is both, your quest to achieve the goal and kind of what you leave behind, the legacy that you leave behind. I think it's important to answer the question of what's an entrepreneur. Some people can say, well, an entrepreneur is just a person who goes off on their own, takes a lot of risks, and rolls the dice and makes $1 million or $2 million or $10 million and drives Ferraris and lives in a huge house. That would be great. That's one definition. I'd like to suggest that maybe it's just a person who defines their own journey in life. Instead of hopping on some predefined path or going to work for a company and having someone else tell you what your life's going to be or how it's going to develop, an entrepreneur is someone who actually embraces what God put him here for and drives down a path of self-fulfillment. It's a person who tries to realize their dreams by maintaining a lot of flexibility in life. So we'll talk a little bit about the flexibility as well. 25 years ago, you talk about a career, and people say, well, I'm going to go, especially in this area, I'm going to go work for Ford or General Motors. I'm going to have a 30-plus year job, get a pension, take care of my family, my husband, my wife, my kids, and you kind of constrain your location and work here in Detroit. I went to undergraduate school at GMI, which is an engineering school which used to be owned by General Motors, and no longer is owned by General Motors. But when I was here, and we'll talk about this in a couple of slides, I decided I wanted to be an engineer, and it kind of led to a very Detroit-focused path initially. How is it now? I mean, I look in this room, which didn't exist when I was here, in this media center instead of a library. There's computers everywhere. Information flow and social networking, Facebook, MySpace, etc., are very prevalent. And the world is much more dynamic. People don't talk about a career per se as a 30-year-plus job. They talk about a career as that journey that I'm mentioning. And lots of jobs in your life. You got a lot of flexibility, where you want to go, who you want to work with, what you want to see in life. So, give you a little context. This was interesting as I looked back. What was it 25 years ago? Careers 30 years. Now people about 7 jobs in their career. So a lot of flexibility. Benefits. You used to go to work for whoever could take care of your health care and take care of your pension. Now, hey, get your own. That's not going to change, by the way, anytime soon with nationalized healthcare. Communication, rotary phones on the wall, public phones. You can't even think of this anymore because you have iPhones, cell phones. U.S. Postal Service would deliver the mail. Now it's email. Walk around with BlackBerry and send the mail. Food, always home cooked. Now you got Dollar Value menu everywhere you go. Fitness, neighborhood games. Now it's video games. Even involved into things like weed to make you feel like you're working out. Relationships were very tangible. It's who you knew, who you met. Now it's very much virtual. Cyber communities. Learning was by books. Just looking at this library tells me that that's changed massively. It's all now internet-based digital media. Social Security. There was a funded Social Security plan. Believe it or not, you guys will probably never see a penny out of Social Security. It's nearly bankrupt. Music, albums and cassettes, CDs, things you probably don't use too much anymore. You want a song, you hear a song, you just download it. And networking was your proximate community, who your neighbors were, and now it's whoever you might meet around the world. So things change very substantially. What you know right now, 25 years from now, it's going to be completely different.